Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Before starting I would like to ask you to please subscribe if you enjoy and to hit the like button too, that way you can help me to start growing my channel. Now let's get into today's topic. After rigging the elections and staging the January 6 false flag riot at the Capitol building in DC, Democrats have some horrifying plans to roll out in their quest to achieve a full-blown Orwellian nightmare future for America, or at least what's left of it. With the rule of law now utterly rejected by every layer of the judicial system in the nation including SCOTUS, there is no longer any controlling legal authority, which will halt the rapid advance of the left's most ambitious agendas. And with Democrats now proving they can steal elections right in front of us, even with overwhelming evidence literally recorded on video cameras as the ballot counting crimes took place, they know nothing can stop them from fulfilling their most crazed visions of a Marxist society, rooted in authoritarianism, censorship and lies. Big media, big tech and big government have now merged into one gargantuan monstrosity, which allows no dissent and no challenges to its power. Obey or be crushed. Parler is being steamrolled by Apple as a demonstration of what happens if you dare suffer under the illusion that such a thing as the First Amendment even exists in this country anymore. But that's only the beginning. What comes next if Trump and the Pentagon don't stop Biden first will rupture this nation to its core. Here's a list of 25 things that Democrats will likely try to implement in America, especially given that the GOP has proven itself to be completely useless at stopping the lawlessness of the left. There was once a time when the GOP promised that if we voted for them, they would protect us from the most insane policy nightmares of the radical left. But as of January 6, the GOP has joined the radical left in betraying America, and there is no longer any point in voting for any GOP candidate ever again. 25 things the Democrats will likely push if Biden is installed as president. Enforce nationwide mandatory masks and mandatory vaccines, all under fear of arrest. Declare the Insurrection Act under Biden and weaponize the US military against patriots and Trump supporters by labeling them all terrorists. Run a new slew of false flag operations to further paint Trump supporters as violent insurrectionists. The very same crisis actors used in the January 6 riots are available for more acting gigs, and they already own all the MAGA gear to wear as costumes for CNN's cameras. Use forced COVID lockdowns to further crush the US economy and drive the population onto government subsidies and food stamps, placing most Americans under the control of the regime. Raise the minimum wage to $23 per hour across the nation, causing a total collapse of the small business sector and driving tens of millions to unemployment and homelessness. Tear down the border wall and encourage millions of illegals to swarm into America, where they receive voting cards and instructions to vote for Democrats. Outlaw all AR-15s and semi-automatic rifles, destroy the Second Amendment and confiscate all guns held by private citizens. That's about 500 million guns, by the way. Ban arm braces, 80% lowers, standard capacity magazines and most ammunition in order to disarm the public and make it easier for the Biden administration to achieve its goal of genocidal extermination of Christians, whites and Trump supporters. Crank up the money printing machines and create trillions in new debt to bail out Democrat-run cities and states. This will further destroy the dollar and lead to a financial collapse, during which people who still hold dollars as currency will lose everything. Anyone stupid enough to put their savings into dollars is about to learn a very expensive lesson about fiat currency collapse that has been repeated throughout world history. Protect big tech and its censorship regime in order to achieve total information dominance over America, snuffing out all independent or dissenting voices by any means necessary, including deplatforming, lawfare, economic warfare or threats of arrest. Enact new carbon taxes to loot the people for driving cars, buying food or using electricity. Control human behavior through carbon allotments and punish those who speak out against the new green tyranny. Rejoin the Paris Climate Accord and other anti-America trade agreements that Trump rejected, once again placing America at a punishing disadvantage in trade actions with other nations, accelerating the global looting of America. Remove all restrictions on China and invite the CCP to continue influencing America's media, tech giants, stock market and elections, where they already have a strong foothold. Critical race theory will be pushed into all public schools as part of the mass indoctrination of the youth with official hatred towards whites, Christians and conservatives. All white people will be marginalized based solely on the whiteness of their skin, all while leftists claim to be tolerant and inclusive as long as you're a transgender, a Trump hater or a person of color. Enact government reparations to force white taxpayers to fund new handouts to people of color, POC, under the false justification that POC are victims and whites are oppressors. In reality, it's white conservative Christians who are now the marginalized victims in America. Eliminate $1 trillion in student debt, forcing taxpayers to pay off loans for left-wing university indoctrination training. The NIH will be funded with tens of billions of dollars to create more biological weapons, such as COVID-21, COVID-22, COVID-23, all of which will be released to oppress the people through the same series of scamdemic hoaxes we all endured in 2020. Launch nationwide arrests of pro-Trump conservatives to be placed into FEMA camps or executed as traitors after being labeled insurrectionists. The very same resistance that the left celebrated for 4 years under Trump will be criminalized and prosecuted under Biden. Pursue economy-crushing Green New Deal policies that will crush America's economy and lead to mass famine due to the collapse of farming. Starvation is a desired policy of the left because they want the masses to be completely dependent on government handouts for food, housing and healthcare. Install more compromised voting machines across America so that Democrats never lose another election again. The ideal scenario for Democrats is to achieve a state where the votes of real voters no longer matter at all. That was already achieved on November 3, 2020. Use widespread eminent domain laws to seize rural land and drive people into the Agenda 21 cities where they are easier to control and monitor. Use 5G Internet of Things surveillance to track the movements and speech archives of all individuals. Roll out a total information awareness techno-fascist police state under the banner of security. All private health insurance will be outlawed and healthcare rationing will be put in place, including death panels to decide who lives and who dies. Have no illusions. White people will be deemed to have no value in society whatsoever, so whites will be killed first. Purge the entire history of Trump from the internet and the White House archives, seeking to erase and rewrite history in classic Orwellian fashion. Purge all evidence of the election rigging crimes of the Democrats and erase all evidence of vaccine harm or the laboratory origins of the coronavirus. Anti-terrorism laws will be invoked to cut off banking and all financial services to those who express dissent toward the authoritarian Biden regime. Any person flagged by the new social credit scoring system will be denied access to air travel, grocery stores or voting locations, much like is currently done in communist China. Lastly, the First Amendment will be nullified by new hate speech laws, which will be upheld by the traitorous U.S. Supreme Court as justified due to right-wing violence. So unless Trump takes decisive action in the next 9 days to expose the criminal corruption of the Democrats and reverse the stolen election, America will face the most deliberately destructive administration in its history, and the republic will not survive. With Biden and Harris at the helm, I predict the United States of America as we know it will no longer be recognizable by 2023. It will be a failed state by 2025, and the fiat dollar will collapse, leading to widespread poverty, social chaos, disease and mass death. Which is exactly what the CCP wants. And Joe Biden is their man to get it done. For the second time in history, we will have a president whose primary mission is the complete destruction of the nation he claims to be leading. Obama was the first time. Prepare accordingly.